والذين معه أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا سيماهم في وجوههم من أثر السجود ذلك مثلهم في التوراة مثلهم في الإنجيل كزرع أخرج شطأه فآزره فاستغلظ فاستوى على سوقه يعجب الزراع ليغيظ بهم الكفار وعد الله الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات منهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله واتقوا الله إن الله سميع عليم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا ترفعوا أصواتكم فوق صوت النبي ولا تجهروا له بالقول كجهر بعضكم لبعض أن تحبط أعمالكم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا ترفعوا أصواتكم فوق صوت النبي ولا تجهروا له بالقول كجهر بعضكم لبعض أن تحبط أعمالكم وأنتم لا تشعرون. إن الذين يغضون أصواتهم عند رسول الله أولئك الذين امتحن الله قلوبهم للتقوى لهم مغفرة وأجر عظيم. إن الذين ينادونك من وراء الحجرات أكثرهم لا يعقلون. ولو أنهم صبروا حتى تخرج إليهم لكان خيرا لهم واعلموا أن فيكم رسول الله لو يطيعكم في كثير من الأمر لعنتم ولكن الله حبب إليكم الإيمان وزينه في قلوبكم وكره إليكم الكفر والفسوق والعصيان أولئك هم الراشدون فضلا من الله ونعمة والله عليم حكيم صدق الله العظيم.
ما شاء الله.
When it comes to the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala, some of us who have been participating in programs for maybe many years may think that the themes are repeated. But on the other hand, just the other day, we had a session in which we were discussing the Sahaba, and a university student approached me and says, I didn't know this. A regular member of our congregation said, I never knew all this. I never knew that the Sahaba was so important in Islam. So on the one hand, we have a lack of information. And on the other hand, we have misinformation. A brother today was complaining about the amount of negative content, complete rubbish about the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum, which people post on the internet. And people consume this on Instagram, on TikTok. SubhanAllah, in a world that frankly many ulama don't have time for, because it's something that is considered to be something you do in your pastime. So it's seeping in, misinformation on the one hand, ignorance on the other. And yet, everything Hafiz recited, Surah Al-Fatih, Surah Hujurat, virtually every verse in one way or another is talking about the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala and their status and their sound iman. And we can't have sound iman without building a foundation on what we learn from the Sahaba. My point is that this program is enormously important. We need to absorb every single word. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this a source of nur and light, hidayah for our entire community and region. This program will commence with the Bismillah, the initiation of the hifz of one student, Muhammad Zakir, and then Sheikh will speak to the mother, where is it? 9:30, and then as I mentioned, hospitality food has been arranged for everybody. And lest I forget, there's another majlis after Isha. So when you finish eating, come into the masjid, read Isha with us at 11:15, inshallah. And then after Isha, we'll have a majlis of dhikr together, inshallah. A halqa of dhikr. Will you all participate, inshallah? Barakallahu feek.
लो भाई हाफिज बनने वाले किधर हैं, आ जाओ इधर। ऐसे ही चलो पढ़ो अलहम्दुलिल्लाह शरीफ से। अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम।
अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम।
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन। पढ़ो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन।
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन।
अर्रहमानिर रहीम।
अर्रहमानिर रहीम।
मालिकि यौमिद्दीन।
मालिकि यौमिद्दीन।
इय्याका नअबुदु
इय्याका नअबुदु
व इय्याका नस्तईन।
व इय्याका नस्तईन।
इहदिनस सिरातल मुस्तकीम।
इहदिनस सिरातल मुस्तकीम।
सिरातल लज़ीना
अनअमत
अलैहिम गैरिल मग़दूबि अलैहिम वलद्दाल्लीन। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। अलिफ लाम मीम। ज़ालिकल किताबु ला रैब फीहि हुदन लिल मुत्तक़ीन الذين يؤمنون
بالغيب
ويقيمون الصلاة
ويقيمون الصلاة
ومما رزقناهم
ومما رزقناهم
ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. ما شاء الله. قولوا ربي يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين. ما شاء الله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. ربنا يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن سهلا إذا شئت فسهل يا إلهي كل صعب بحرمة سيد الأبرار سهل. परवरदिगार आलम इस मासूम बच्चे ने हिफ्ज़ का इरादा किया है, इसके लिए हिफ्ज़ को आसान फरमाइए, इसके सीने में कलाम पाक को महफूज फरमाइए और जितने भी बच्चे कलाम पाक की हिफ्ज़ का इरादा रखते हैं सबके लिए हिफ्ज़ आसान फरमाइए और सबको हिफ्ज़ के लिए कबूल फरमाइए और सबका हशर और शुमार हुफ़ाज़ किराम के साथ फरमाइए। हमारे मदारिस की मकातिब कुरानिया की हिफाजत फरमाइए और कुरान की नशर इशाअत के लिए जितनी भी मेहनतें हो रही हैं सबको कबूल फरमाइए। रब्बना तक़ब्बल मिन्ना इन्नका अंतस समीउल अलीम व तुब अलैना इन्नका अंतत तव्वाबुर रहीम। सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अला सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद व आलिहि व सहबिहि अजमईन बिरहमतिक या अल्लाह। अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह नहमदुहु व नस्तईनुहु व नस्तगफिरुहु व नु'मिनु बिही व नतवक्कलु अलैहि व नऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिन शुरूरि अनफुसिना व मिन सय्यिआति अअमालिना। मन यहदिहिल्लाह फला मुदिल्ल लहु व मन युद्लिल फला हादिय लहु। नशहदु अन ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह वहदहु ला शरीका लहु व नशहदु अन्न सय्यिदना व मौलाना मुहम्मदन अब्दुहु व रसूलुहु सल्लल्लाहु तबारक व तआला अलैहि व अला आलिहि व अस्हाबिहि व बारक व सल्लम तस्लीमन कसीरन कसीरा। अम्मा बअदु फअऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। वस्साबिक़ूनल अव्वलून मिनल मुहाजिरीन वल अंसार वल्लज़ीन इत्तबअूहुम बिइहसान रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हुम व रज़ू अन्हु व अअद्द लहुम जन्नातिन तजरी तहतहा अल-अनहार खालिदीन फीहा अबदा ज़ालिकल फ़ौज़ुल अज़ीम। वक़ाल तआला वअद अल्लाहु अल्लज़ीना आमनू मिनकुम व अमिलुस सालिहात लयस्तख़लिफ़न्नहुम फ़िल अर्ज़ि कमा इस्तख़लफ़ल लज़ीना मिन क़ब्लिहिम व लयुमक्किनन्न लहुम दीनहुम अल्लज़ी इर्तज़ा लहुम व लयुबद्दिलन्नहुम मिन बअदि ख़ौफ़िहिम अमना यअबुदूननी ला युशरिकून बी शैआ व मन कफ़र बअद ज़ालिक फ़उलाइका हुमुल फ़ासिक़ून। وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وأطيعوا الرسول لعلكم ترحمون। لا تحسبن الذين كفروا معجزين في الأرض ومأواهم النار ولبئس المصير. وقال تعالى वमा आताकुमुर रसूल फखुज़ूहु वमा नहाकुम अन्हु फंतहू वत्तकुल्लाह इन्नल्लाह शदीदुल इक़ाब लिलफुक़राइल मुहाजिरीन अल्लज़ीना उख़रिजू मिन दियारिहिम व अमवालिहिम यब्तगून फ़ज़लन मिनल्लाहि व रिज़वाना व यंसुरूनल्लाह व रसूलहु उलाइका हुमुस सादिक़ून वल्लज़ीना तबव्वअु उद्दार वल ईमान मिन क़ब्लिहिम युहिब्बून मन हाजर इलैहिम वला यजिदून फ़ी सुदूरिहिम हाजतन मिम्मा ऊतू वयु'थिरून अला अनफुसिहिम वलौ कान बिहिम खसासा वमन यूक़ शुह्ह नफ्सिही फ़उलाइका हुमुल मुफ़्लिहून वल्लज़ीना जाअू मिन बअदिहिम यक़ूलून रब्बना इग़फ़िर लना वलिइख़वानिना अल्लज़ीना सबक़ूना बिल ईमान वला तजअल फ़ी क़ुलूबिना ग़िल्लन लिल्लज़ीना आमनू रब्बना इन्नका रऊफ़ुर रहीम वक़ाल तआला कुन्तुम खैरा उम्मतिन उख़रिजत लिन्नास तअमुरून बिल मअरूफ़ व तनहौना अनिल मुनकर व तु'मिनून बिल्लाह वलौ आमन अहलुल किताब लकान खैरन लहुम मिनहुमुल मुअमिनून व अक्सरुहुमुल फ़ासिक़ून वक़ाल तआला वइज़ा क़ील लहुम आमिनू कमा आमनन नास क़ालू वनु'मिनु कमा आमनस सुफ़हाअ अला इन्नहुम हुमुस सुफ़हाअ वलाकिन ला यअलमून वक़ाल तआला फ़इन आमनू बिमिस्लि मा आमनतुम बिही फ़क़द इह्तदव वइन तवल्लव फ़इन्नमा हुम फ़ी शिक़ाक़ फ़सयक्फ़ीकहुमुल्लाहु व हुवस समीउल अलीम सिबग़तल्लाह व मन अहसनु मिनल्लाहि सिबग़तन व नहनु लहु आबिदून वक़ाल तआला इहदिनस सिरातल मुस्तक़ीम सिरातल लज़ीना अनअमत अलैहिम ग़ैरिल मग़ज़ूबि अलैहिम वलद्दाल्लीन वक़ाल अन्नबिय्यु सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अन्नुजूमु अमनतुन लिस्समाअ फ़इज़ा ज़हबतिन नुजूम अतस्समाअ मा तुअद व अना अमनतुन लिअस्हाबी फ़इज़ा ज़हबतु अना अता अस्हाबी मा युअदून व अस्हाबी अमनतुन लिउम्मती फ़इज़ा ज़हबत अस्हाबी अता उम्मती मा तुअद व रुविया अन्हु सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अन्नहु क़ाल अस्हाबी कन्नुजूम बिअय्यिहिम इक़्तदय्तुम इह्तदय्तुम वक़ाल अलैहिस्सलाम मसलु अस्हाबी फ़ी उम्मती कल्मिल्हि फ़ित्तआम ला यस्लुहु अत्तआम इल्ला बिलमिल्हि क़ाल अल-हसन अल-बसरी रहिमहुल्लाह फ़क़द ज़हब मिल्हुना फ़कैफ़ नस्लुह वक़ाल अलैहिस्सलाम अक्रिमू अस्हाबी फ़इन्नहुम खियारुकुम वक़ाल अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम अलैकुम बिसुन्नती व सुन्नतिल खुलफ़ाइर राशिदीन अल-महदिय्यीन अद्दू अलैहा बिन्नवाजिज़ व इय्याकुम व मुहदसातिल उमूर फ़इन्न कुल्ल मुहदसतिन बिदअह व कुल्लु बिदअतिन ज़लालह वक़ाल अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम वक़ाल अब्दुल्लाह इब्न मस्ऊद रज़ियल्लाहु तआला अन्हु मन कान मुस्तन्नन फ़लियस्तन्न बिमन क़द मात फ़इन्नल हय्य ला तु'मनु अलैहिल फ़ित्नह उलाइका अस्हाबु मुहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम कानू अबर्र हाज़िहिल उम्मति क़ुलूबन व अअमक़हा इल्मन व अक़ल्लहा तकल्लुफ़न इख्तारहुमुल्लाहु लिसुहबति नबिय्यिही व लिइक़ामति फ़ज़लिही व लिइक़ामति दीनिही फ़अरिफ़ू लहुम फ़ज़लहुम व तमस्सकू बिमस्ततअतुम मिन सियरिहिम व अख़लाक़िहिम फ़इन्नहुम कानू अलल हुदल मुस्तक़ीम वक़ाल अन्नबिय्यु सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अबू बकर फ़िल जन्नह व उमर फ़िल जन्नह व उस्मान फ़िल जन्नह व अली फ़िल जन्नह व तलहा इब्न उबैदिल्लाह फ़िल जन्नह व ज़ुबैर इब्न अव्वाम फ़िल जन्नह व सअद इब्न अबी वक्कास फ़िल जन्नह व सईद इब्न ज़ैद फ़िल जन्नह व अब्दुर्रहमान इब्न औफ फ़िल जन्नह व अबू उबैदा आमिर इब्न जर्राह फ़िल जन्नह वक़ाल अलैहिस्सलाम अरहमु उम्मती बिउम्मती अबू बकर व अशद्दुहुम फ़ी अम्रिल्लाहि उमर व अस्दक़ुहुम हयाअन उस्मान व अक़ज़ाहुम अली व फ़ातिमतु सय्यिदतु निसाइ अहलिल जन्नह वल हसन वल हुसैन सय्यिदा शबाबि अहलिल जन्नह व हम्ज़तु असदुल्लाहि व असदु रसूलिहि व अअलमुहुम बिल हलाल वल हराम मुआज़ इब्न जबल व अफ़रदुहुम ज़ैद इब्न थाबित वलिकुल्लि उम्मतिन अमीन व अमीनु हाज़िहिल उम्मह अबू उबैदा इब्नुल जर्राह रिज़वानुल्लाहि अलैहिम अजमईन वक़ाल अलैहिस्सलाम कमुल मिनर रिजालि कसीर वलम यकमुल मिनन निसाई इल्ला मरियम बिन्त इमरान व खदीजा बिन्त खुवैलिद وفضل عائشة على سائر النساء كفضل الثريد على سائر الطعام. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فاطمة بضعة مني يريبني ما رابها ويؤذيني ما آذاها. وقال عليه السلام مثل أهل بيتي كمثل سفينة نوح من ركبها نجا ومن تخلف عنها هلك، أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الأمي الكريم، ونحن على ما قال ربنا وخالقنا ورازقنا من الشاهدين والشاكرين، والحمد لله رب العالمين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. सब दुरूद शरीफ पढ़ें, everybody दुरूद शरीफ. अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद व अला आलि सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद कमा सल्लैता अला सय्यिदिना इब्राहीम व अला आलि सय्यिदिना इब्राहीम इन्नका हमीदुम मजीद. अल्लाहुम्मा बारिक अला सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद व अला आलि सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद कमा बारकता अला सय्यिदिना इब्राहीम व अला आलि सय्यिदिना इब्राहीम इन्नका हमीदुम मजीद. ज़बान पर मोमिनों के जब भी जिक्र ताजदार आए, ज़बान पर मोमिनों के जब भी जिक्र ताजदार आए तो इसके बाद लाजिम है कि जिक्र चार याद आए. अबू बकर, उमर, उस्मान और हैदर बाग़बान जब हों, अबू बकर, उमर, उस्मान और हैदर बाग़बान जब हों तो फिर क्यों कर न बाग़े मुस्तफ़ा में फिर बहार है. दुर्फिशानी ने तेरी कतरों को दरिया कर दिया, दिल को रोशन कर दिया, आँखों को बीना कर दिया. खुद न थे जो राह पर औरों के हादी बन गए, वो क्या नज़र थी जिसने मुर्दों को मसीहा कर दिया. नबी के खुल्क़े अज़ीम तर ने सभी को अपना बना के छोड़ा. वो लोग जिनमें दरिंदगी थी उन्हीं को रहबर बना के छोड़ा. उमर थे गुस्से में चूर इतना, चले थे हजरत को कत्ल करने, मगर रिसालत की एक नज़र में उन्हें भी अपना बना के छोड़ा. Respected elders, brothers, friends, young ones, ladies, first of all we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all his blessings. We need to do shukr Allah for all his ni'mas. May Allah give us tawfiq to do shukr. Allah gave us tawfiq to read Asr Salat with Jama'at, which is classed as Salatul Wusta, the best Salah of the day, Afzal Salah. Lots of reward for it. So much reward that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Man fatahu Salatul Asr, فَكَأَنَّمَا وُتِرَ أَهْلُهُ وَمَالُهُ. Whoever's Asr Salah is missed, then he suffered such a huge loss as though all his family and all his wealth and property has been destroyed. Imagine, in earthquakes, these things happen, the whole house collapses, the whole family is destroyed. Imagine what is happening in Gaza. People have lost everything. How much loss they have suffered. No families, no kids, no parents, no grandparents, yatim child. May Allah have mercy on them. May Allah bring some relief for them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alleviate their suffering. May Allah protect the whole Muslim Ummah. So if you miss one Asr namaz, you suffer such a huge loss as though you've lost all your family and all your wealth and you're left with nothing. That is a result of missing one Asr Salah. Imagine how many Asr Salahs we've missed. May Allah give us tawfiq to understand and pray Asr Salah with Jama'at and all 5 Salats with Jama'at. Thereafter Allah gave us tawfiq to sit in the house of Allah, learn something about our beautiful deen al-Islam. I would like to thank Maulana Abdul Ghafoor Sahab, Qari Sahab, Masjid trustees, community, everyone for calling me over. Maulana Abdul Ghafoor Sahab suggested this topic about Sahaba, illuminating stars, the shining stars. Sahaba are like the shining stars in the sky. There is one hadith which says, Sahabi kan nujum. بِأَيِّهِمْ اقْتَدَيْتُمْ اهْتَدَيْتُمْ. My Sahaba are like stars. Whichever Sahabi you follow, you will be guided. Meaning, when the Arabs used to travel in the desert, they would struggle to travel during the day because of the heat. So they would rest under the shade of trees during the day. And when night falls, they would start their journey and they would travel throughout the whole night till Fajr. Now during the day, you know where the sun is, east, west, north, south. But at night, you don't know where you're heading. And there's no compass, there's no GPS. So how do you go about your journey? You know, one turn miss, and you'll end up in no man's land. So they had to study the stars, observe the stars, and hold on to that star, and that star would take them right in that direction. And they were masters of astronomy, astrology, and they used to study stars while they are lying down at night, and they would know which star is where. So their GPS would be the stars. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying, my Sahaba are like those stars. Whichever star you follow, you will be guided. Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu is a star. Umar Farooq radiyallahu anhu is a star. Uthman Ghani radiyallahu anhu is a star. Hazrat Ali Murtada karramallahu wajhahu is a shining star. Whichever Sahabi you follow, you will be guided. In another hadith, he also gave another similarity. Allahu Akbar. He said, النجوم أمنة للسماء. The stars are a protection for the sky, the heaven. As long as the stars are in their places, they are circulating in their orbits, the sky is safe. فإذا ذهبت النجوم أتى السماء موضوعة. When the stars are destroyed, then whatever warnings have been given to the sky will come on it. When the trumpet is blown, the first nizam to be corrupted and to collapse will be the alawi nizam, the heavenly nizam. And then it will be the earthly management organization. إِذَا الشَّمْسُ كُبِّرَتْ وَإِذَا النُّجُومُ انْكَدَرَتْ. That's first. And then وَإِذَا الْجِبَالُ سُيِّرَتْ وَإِذَا الْعِشَارُ عُطِّلَتْ. So when Israfil alayhi salam blows trumpet, the gravity, the pulling power between the stars will be removed by Allah, and the stars will collapse, collide, crash, and the whole universe will be in chaos. The sun is gone, it's collapsed, the light of the sun is taken away, the fire, millions of hydrogens, Allah extinguishes the sun, like we pour water over fire after barbecue, and we extinguish it. Similarly, Allah will extinguish the sun and the moon and the stars will collapse with one another. When the stars are gone, that means the nizam of the heavens is gone. Then he said, وَأَنَا أَمَنَةٌ لِأَصْحَابِي فَإِذَا ذَهَبْتُ أَنَا أَتَى أَصْحَابِي مَا يُوعَدُونَ. I am a security and safety for my companions. When I go, then those matters which have been promised or to my Sahaba, they will come and those things will happen. So they will try their best to remain strong. But the external factors which are to create some chaos, they will happen, take place. So as long as Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was there, everything was in control, beautifully managed by the presence of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His presence was amazing. His presence in a majlis was enough to unite the hearts of everyone and keep everyone calm. Sahaba would sit in these majlis as though there's birds sitting on their heads, motionless. And they would benefit from the spirituality of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sayyidina Anas radiyallahu anhu says, the day Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam arrived in Medina Munawwara after Hijrat migration, Allah minha kullu shay'in. Everything in Medina came to light. Everything was shining and illuminated. And we were having a real good time. 10 years passed. The day he died, فَلَمَّا مَاتَ أَظْلَمَ مِنْهَا كُلُّ شَيْءٍ. Everything became dark upon us. That, when such a personality like Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam leaves the dunya, all the Sahaba were just, taken aback, gobsmacked, they didn't know what to do. It was Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu who was stable and he controlled everyone and kept everyone together. So he said, after my death, the things that have been promised to my Sahaba will come on them. And then the third sentence he said, وَأَصْحَابِي أَمَنَةٌ لِأُمَّتِي فَإِذَا ذَهَبَتْ أَصْحَابِي أَتَى أُمَّتِي وَتُوَعَدْ. And my Sahaba are an aman and peace and security for my ummah. When my Sahaba are gone, then those things which are promised to the ummah, that will happen and that will come. Sahaba, he said in one riwayah, there is not a single Sahabi of mine who dies in a land that he is buried in some distant area, remote area. But on the day of Qiyamah, he will be resurrected from his qabr as a nur and light for that whole area. He said in one hadith, a time will come when people will go in the path of Allah and they will ask, is there a Sahabi in our army? There will be one Sahabi in that army, and because of that one Sahabi, Allah will grant them victory. A time will come when people will say, is there a Tabi'i among this army? There will be one Tabi'i, and because of his barakat, Allah will give victory. And then he mentioned the Tabi'i. So these are the Sahaba. They are the shining stars. They are the illuminating stars. This is why it is important to have such jalis. And as Maulana Abdul Ghafoor Sahib was mentioning, there are so many misconceptions and misinformations and lack of information regarding the Sahaba. That's why sometimes our youngsters get misguided, misled. When we keep these majalis, we learn about our Sahaba, our iman increases. Today, since we are talking about Sahaba, we will have to mention definition of Sahabi and a rough estimate of the amount of Sahabi and who are the best among the Sahaba, and then what are the virtues of Sahaba, then what is the hukm of loving the Sahaba, and what is the hukm of hating a Sahabi, and what are the ahkam of mushajarati Sahaba. There were some internal matters among the Sahaba. So what is the hukm of those differences which happened among them? These are a few subjects we need to talk about. First of all, what is the definition of a Sahabi? Who do we class as a Sahabi? There are many wordings. The most appropriate and the best wording is that which is mentioned by Hafiz ibn Hajar Asqalani rahmatullahi alayhi in his beautiful book on Sahaba in 4 volumes, Al-Isabah fi Tamyiz al-Sahaba. He discusses it in few pages, and at the end he says the best definition is Man laqiya an-nabiyya sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mu'minan bihi wa mata ala al-Islam. An individual who met Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam whilst having iman in him, believing in him, having faith in him as Allah's messenger, and then he continued and he remained on that belief until he died with Islam, with iman, is a Sahabi. Man laqiya an-nabiyya sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who met. Some said Man ra'a an-nabiyya sallallahu, who saw. Hafiz ibn Hajar said, but if you use the word who saw, then it will exclude the blind Sahaba because they didn't see him. So he said Man laqiya is better, who met, whether they saw him or they didn't see him. And laqiyan Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said this liqa, we use the word liqa, we don't use the word man sahiba. Because sohbat means a lengthy period, who stay for a long period. But liqa means even if it's momentarily. They met him for a few minutes. For example, they only saw him from a distance in Hajjatul Wada. Because in Hajjatul Wada, many various tribes from different areas came and they only got one glimpse of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam in Hajjatul Wada when he was sitting on that she-camel in Arafah. They are also a Sahaba. They met him for only a moment. They are Sahaba. Man laqiya al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Mu'minan bihi, believing in him. This excludes those who did not believe in him, who did kufr and denial of his nubuwwah. They had iman. And iman is in the heart. So it will exclude the munafiqeen, the hypocrites as well. Because they saw him, they proclaimed, they professed to believe in him. But in reality, iman was not in their hearts. The iman was only on the lips. In their hearts was kufr and denial. So they will not be a sahabi. Sahabi is one who met Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam with iman and faith and yaqeen in his heart, believing in him as a prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, mu'minan bihi, and wa mata ala al-Islam. They died with Islam. Now, Hafiz ibn Hajar mentioned a discussion over here. If someone believed in Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, however, he renegated, but then he came back to Islam. Now, there will be one of two case scenarios. Either he came back to Islam during his lifetime, then his Sahabiyat comes back because Huzur is still alive. And this case happened, some people, they had some disagreement or some misunderstanding, but then they came back. A few, we can count on the fingers. And there might be some, number two, where they came back to Islam after his death. Now, will they be classed as Sahabi or not? Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah said, because their Sahabiyat was whilst he was still alive. But when he died, they had left Islam. If they came back in the time of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu or Umar Farooq or Usman Ghani's Khilafat, then they will not be classed as Sahabi. But Imam Shafi'i rahmatullah is of the opinion that they will still be classed as Sahaba. Because Mata ala Islam, whatever happened in between will be disregarded and they will be classed as Sahaba. This is how Hafiz ibn Hajar explained the definition of a Sahabi. We will now understand who is a Sahabi. An individual who met Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam whilst believing in him as a messenger of Allah, and they died with Islam, is called Sahabi. Now, what is the rough estimate of Sahaba? Imam Abu Zur'a Ghazi rahmatullahi alayhi has said, مات النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن 100,000 من الصحابة. When he died, there were 100,000 Sahaba. Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria rahmatullahi alayhi has written in one place, there were 124,000 Sahaba. Now imagine, Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam started with one Sahabi, Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu. After coming back from Ghar Hira, Hazrat Khadija radiallahu anha is the first among the ladies to believe. Hazrat Abu Bakr is the first among the men. Hazrat Zayd ibn Haritha is the first among the slaves. And Hazrat Ali ibn Abi Talib is the first among the children. They are the first believers. And it started. And for 5 years, there were only 40 followers. 5 years hard work and only 40 followers. Among the men, the grown-ups, not talking about ladies and young ones. Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu embraced Islam in the year 5 after the Nubuwwat, and he was the 40th believer. And then Islam went into ascendancy, little bit of increase. Now the mushrikeen started getting worried. They started persecuting the believers. Sabiqeen Awwaleen, the earlier ones. You know about the torture of Hazrat Bilal radiallahu anhu, Hazrat Khabbab ibn Arat radiallahu anhu, Ammar ibn Yasir radiallahu anhu, his father Yasir, his mother Sumayya, how these Sahaba were persecuted, abused, insulted, tortured, but they remained steadfast on Islam. They supported Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam through thick and thin. To the extent, when this got too much, they asked for permission to migrate, and he gave them permission, and they migrated to Habasha in the year 7 after Nubuwwah. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was put into exile along with his clan of Banu Hashim in Shabi Abi Talib. And Quraysh said to Abu Talib and Banu Hashim that you hand over Muhammad to us so we can kill him. And they said, we're never going to hand him over to you. And they said, then in that case, we are making an open boycott against Banu Hashim, kicked out of Makkah, and they spent time in the shape of Abi Talib for 3 years. In the year 10 after Nubuwwah, they come back, they are allowed back into Makkah Mukarramah. And then, in that year, some Ansar come from Medina Munawwara at Hajj time in Mosque, and some of them embrace Islam. 7 men and 6 women. The following year, 72 embrace Islam. And then in the 3rd year, meaning the year 13 after Nubuwwah, they invite Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Medina Sharif. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam accepts that invitation and he arrives. And when he arrives in Medina Sharif, that is when Islam goes into the ascendancy. There is peace, security, no more persecution, they are at ease, and people are coming into Islam. Now Mushrikeen of Makkah, they come to tackle and finish them off in the battle of Badr, and then in Uhud, and then in Khandaq. 400 kilometers, they travel 400 kilometers to annihilate them and finish them off. But Sahaba are strong and they persevere. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases the amount of Sahaba. In the battle of Badr, there is 313 Sahaba. In Uhud, 1,000 Sahaba. And then in Khandaq, after that Sulh Hudaybiyah, 1,400 Sahaba. In Fath Makkah, in the year 10 after Nubuwwah, 10,000 Sahaba. And in the year 9 after Hijrah, in the battle of Tabuk, 30,000 Sahaba. And then in Hajjatul Wada, 100,000 Sahaba performed Hajj with Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Now we get a rough estimate of the amount of Sahaba. And we understand that Sahaba are the best among our ummah. We know the sacrifices they made. Nobody can come close to their qurbani and their sacrifices. The earlier Sahaba, from Makkah Mukarramah, for the 13 years, nobody can come close to those Sahaba. And all Khulafai Rashideen are from them. We learn the ayat of Quran Sharif, where in the second ruku of the 11th juz, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه وأعد لهم جنات تجري تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه ذلك الفوز العظيم. The earlier Sahaba, the one who hastened and rushed towards Islam to accept it, the earlier ones who rushed, السابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار, from the migrants and the helpers. Who are the migrants? Who arrived from Makkah Mukarramah and from the neighboring towns and cities. And who are the Ansar? The residents of Medina who supported them through thick and thin. Nobody could support anyone as Ansar supported the Muhajirin. There is no one in the world, no asylum seekers went to a place where they were given so much protection as Ansar gave protection to the Muhajirin. They sacrificed everything for them. They said, this is my house, you can take it. My wife, I have two, you take the one which you want, I will divorce her, you marry her. I have these bars, this is the best bar, you take that bar and you make your money from it. They gave everything. So they are the Ansar and they are the Muhajirin and Ansar. And وَالَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوهُمْ بِإِحْسَانٍ, and those who followed them with ihsan, in a good way. Allah said, رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ وَرَضُوا عَنْهُ. Allah is well pleased with all of them and they are pleased with Allah. وَأَعَدَّ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي تَحْتَهَا الْأَنْهَارِ. Allah has prepared for them jannats beneath which rivers flow. Meaning in front of them. Like rivers flow in gardens, in front of mansions. خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا أَبَدًا. They will abide in there forever. ذَلِكَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. That is supreme success. Now, وَالسَّابِقُونَ الْأَوَّلُونَ. Who are the Sabiqeen Awwaleen? Sa'id ibn Musayyib rahmatullah alayhi said, Man salla ila al-qiblatayn. Those who prayed namaz toward both qiblas. You know that when Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam came to Medina Sharif, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him to pray facing Baytul Maqdis. Now he prayed facing Baytul Maqdis for 16 to 17 months. Then the order came about Tahmeel Qibla. قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبْلَةً تَرْضَاهَا فَوَلِّ وَجْهَكَ شَطْرَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ وَحَيْثُمَا كُنْتُمْ فَوَلُّوا وُجُوهَكُمْ شَطْرَهُ. So they turned. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam from north, he began to face the south. Jerusalem was in the north, Makkah was in the south, Medina was in the middle. So he turned towards Makkah. From then on, Qibla is now Ka'batul Sharif. So those Sahaba who prayed namaz towards both Qiblas are as-sabiqun al-awwalun. Number two, Imam Shafi'i rahmatullah alayhi said, Alladhi nashhahidu badran wa bay'at al-ridwan. Those who participated in Badr and in Bayatul Ridwan. Badr, Khandaq, Uhud, Bayatul Ridwan. What is Bayatul Ridwan? In the year 6 after Hijrah, when Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam saw that dream and came to perform Umrah, and Mushrikeen stopped him, prevented him from reaching Kaaba Sharif, and he was in the Maidan of Hudaybiyah, and he was trying to have a dialogue with them. But they were not budging, they were stubborn. So, Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Usman to have a dialogue with them. But then the rumor came that they have murdered Usman. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if they have murdered Usman, then we will not go back from here without taking the revenge of Usman. So he called on the Sahaba and he started taking the riyat and pledge. He sat under the shade of a tree and Sahaba were coming in line and they were putting their hands in the hands of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam and pledging that we will not flee, we will not run away, and we will fight till death. We're not going back without taking the revenge of blood of Usman. 1400 Sahaba, one by one. When this news reached Makkah, they said, "Bhai Usman ko jaldi bhej do, warna khair bigar jayegi." Send him back quickly. So Hazrat Usman came safely and Nabi Pak said, okay, no more fight, no more pledge. Now, this was a special occasion. There were some hypocrites there as well. They were told to give bayat, and that hypocrite munafiq ran off and hid behind his camel. Someone said to him, go give your bayat. And he said, no, I don't want. Because they didn't have that ikhlas. He died with nifaq. But the Sahaba who did that bayat, whether it's Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, radiyallahu anhu, Sayyidina Umar Faruq, Sayyidina Usman Ghani was there. It was because of him the bayat was taking place. And you know what Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam did? He put one hand and he put the other one on top of that hand and he said, this is for Usman. So he did not want to leave out Usman from that bayat. He said, I am doing this pledge. This is hand of Usman, this is my hand, and I am doing that bayat for Usman as well. So Hazrat Usman, Hazrat Ali, and all the Sahaba, Sabiqeen and Wali, Ashara Mubashshara, Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, they are all Jannatis. Ashab Badr, who participated in Badr, all Jannatis. Ashab Hudaybiyah, they are all going in Jannah. So, As-Sabiqun al-Awwalun are these Sahaba up to Bayatul Rizwan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in one place, لا يستوي منكم من أنفق من قبل الفتح وقاتل أولئك أعظم درجة من الذين أنفقوا من بعد وقاتلوا وكلا وعد الله الحسنى والله بما تعملون خبير. Those who spent in the path of Allah before the conquest of Makkah. Makkah was conquered in the year 8 after Hijrah. So those who spent in the path of Allah and who struggled for the sake of Allah before Fatih Makkah, and those who embraced Islam after Fatih Makkah in the year 8 after Hijrah, Allah said the two cannot be equal. Allah said أولئك أعظم درجة من الذين أنفقوا من بعد وقاتلوا. Those from before are greater in darajat and ranking in comparison to those who embraced Islam later on. And then Allah said, وَكُلًّا وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الْحُسْنَى. However, Allah has promised husna, beautiful reward to all of them, all of the Sahaba. Whether they embraced Islam before Fatih Makkah or after, they might be greater in ranking. But to all, Allah is promising al-husna. وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الْحُسْنَى وَاللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرٌ. So these are the Sahaba. Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in. Now, we have plenty of ayat of fadail of Sahaba. Ridwanullahi ajma'in. Qari Abdullah Sahab was reading from Muhammadur Rasulullah. وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانه. Allah is praising him, right? In Quran Sharif. And this is to be recited until the day of Qiyamah. What can you say after the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When Allah is saying, radiyallahu anhum wa radu anhu. This is why when we take the name of a Sahabi, what do we say? Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, radiyallahu anhu. Hazrat Umar Farooq, radiyallahu anhu. Hazrat Usman Ghani, radiyallahu anhu. Hazrat Ali Murtaza, radiyallahu anhu. Hazrat Khadijatul Kubra, radiyallahu anha. Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa, radiyallahu anha. Hazrat Hafsa binti Umar, radiyallahu anha. Hazrat Fatimatul Zahra, radiyallahu anha. Hazrat Zainab, Hazrat Ruqayya, Hazrat Kulthum, radiyallahu anha. All Sahaba, Sahabiyat, we have to say radiyallahu anhu or anha with their name. Allah said radiyallahu anhu. Each and every individual Sahabi has been given this special token and gift and present by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is well pleased with them. So, Sahaba's fadail in Quran, oh, numerous fadail. Allah said, أولئك هم الراشدون, أولئك هم الصادقون, أولئك هم المؤمنون حقا. They are the rightly guided. They are the truthful ones. They are the true believers, believers in truth. When Allah is praising it in this manner, who are we to criticize the Sahaba? Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in. You know when Allah said, كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. Who are the first addressees of this address? كنتم خير أمة. You are the best nation who have been brought out for people. You command and enjoin good, and you forbid evil, and you believe in Allah. Who is Allah talking to? This ayat is revealed on Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and the first mukhatab of this ayat are the Sahaba. Allah is saying, "Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nas." You are the best among the nations who have been brought out for people. So, Quran ayat after ayat. وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنكُمْ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ كَمَا اسْتَخْلَفَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. Allah promised the Sahaba that He will give you khilafat of the earth. كَمَا اسْتَخْلَفَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ وَلَيُمَكِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ دِينَهُمُ الَّذِي ارْتَضَىٰ لَهُمْ. Allah will give them tamkeen on the earth, establish them on the earth. وَلَيُبَدِّلَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ خَوْفِهِمْ أَمْنًا. after the fear they have been through, Allah will replace it with aman and peace and security. This khilafat, this tamkeen was promised to them. Did Allah not establish Islam on the globe through the Sahaba? You tell me. Who went out of their homes and spread Islam around the globe? Who sacrificed everything? It was the Sahaba. They never cared about their lives or their properties or their families or their children. They just went out in the path of Allah. You will have Abu Ayyub al-Ansari radiallahu anhu sleeping in Istanbul, Turkey. You will have Uqba ibn Amir al-Juhani somewhere in Egypt, Amr ibn al-As in Egypt. You will have Khalid ibn Walid radiallahu anhu in Hims and Dimashq. And you will have the 10,000 Sahaba who died in Amwas over there. And here and there, scattered everywhere. You will get Qusam ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, the younger brother of Abdullah ibn Abbas. He's sleeping in Uzbekistan, in Samarkand. Qutayba ibn Muslim over there, or Sa'id ibn Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu, somewhere over there. Sahaba scattered around the world. Uthman ibn Abil As al-Thaqafi, somewhere in Sindh. He is the Fatih of Sindh. He brought Islam to our lands of Pakistan and Hind and Sindh. If we had not been to those areas, Islam would not have reached us. Today, we struggle to go out in the path of Allah for 40 days. One chilla of Tabligh Jamaat is hard for us. And here they are, years upon years, going out in the path of Allah. I was listening to Maulana Tariq Jamil Sahab the other day, a small clip. And he said that I went to Shad, Nigeria, and only for 1 week. And there's large lizards and chameleons. And we get terrified by them. But the locals, nothing happens to them. And he said, I was told to lead Jummah Namaz. I was standing on the Musalla. And I started my salah. And a large lizard came in front of me on the wall. And I was shaking. I couldn't read the Quran properly. He said, we are scared of these lizards. Sahaba went through the jungles of Africa. They were never scared of the snakes and the scorpions and the lions and the beasts of those countries. Uqba ibn Amir al-Juhani went through these African deserts and the African jungles. He came to these jungle and forests. And they had the army of Sahaba, and he spoke to the wild beasts and reptiles of the jungle. He said, oh, wild beasts and reptiles and snakes, scorpions of this jungle, leave this area. We are Sahaba. We want some sleep. We want some nice peaceful sleep over here. Don't disturb us. Go out from here. And what do the Sahaba see? All the reptiles and wild animals taking away their babies and rushing out of the jungle and cleaning that area for this army of Sahaba. They sacrificed this. Allah gave them this. This is why Allah paved the way. Allah saw their sacrifice. Allah paved the way for them. When they went to engage in battle with Kisra, the Persian emperor, they defeated the army. The army retreated. They came to a place where there is a large river and there are bridges over it. And they left some army for the dead on this side and the rest of the army crossed on the other side and they cut off all those bridges. Sahaba dealt with this army, the remnants, and when they came to the water, they saw that, oh, what is this? This is some plotting which they plotted against us. And Ala ibn al-Hadrami, the leader of the army, he said, Ya Allah, we are on the verge of victory and these people have done this, plotted this. Please allow us to cross this water, on water, and we can defeat the enemy. And he used the words, Asma al-Husna, Ya Ali, Ya Halim, Ya Ali, Ya Azim, Ya Ali, Ya Halim, Ya Ali, Ya Azim, Ya Ali, Ya Halim, Ya Ali, Ya Azim. Please Allah help us to cross. And he just threw his horse on the water and the horse started running like it's running on land. And the Sahaba also threw their horses in there. And the Ravi says, not even their feet or their sandals got wet with water. They crossed onto the other side and the army couldn't believe their eyes. Are these human beings or Farishta, angels? And they were shaken and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave victory. These were the Sahaba. When the White House, because Kisra used to call his house White House because it was made from white marble. When that was conquered and the Sahaba defeated and conquered, they went inside that huge palace mansion. Kisra used to sit on a huge takht a member like this large, like a member, throne. And on his throne, he used to have a large crown, but he couldn't bear the weight of the crown, so the crown was hung onto the ceiling, but he would go and sit and he would look like he's wearing it. And he had the most expensive diamonds and pearls and jewels. And that piece of rug, massive rug which was spread in front of his throne, it had, the best types of all carpet and jewels which were put inside, beauty you can think of. When Sahaba conquered everything, they gathered all Mali Ghanima, and the rule is that 1/5 should be sent to Baytul Mal, and 4/5 are for the Mujahideen, the Ghanimi. So 1/5 was sent to Medina Munawwara. When it all arrived, Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu was amazed. He had looked at the amanat dari of these Sahaba, of the companions of the Prophet. They sent everything that should be sent over there. He was very happy with Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu and other leaders. He opened that massive rug and he said, bring some scissors, make these into pieces. And then he gave out pieces to the Sahaba. One Sahabi who got one small piece, he says, I sold that piece for 80,000 dirhams. Kisra used to wear large golden bracelets, bangles, bracelets. And they also came in that Mali Ghanimah. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu called for Suraqa ibn Malik radiallahu. Where is Suraqa? Suraqa said, I'm here, Amirul Mu'mineen. Say, Umar, come here. You remember that hadith? One day, Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said to you, Oh Suraqa, one day the bracelets of Kisra will be brought and will be put on your hands, and you were scratching your head. You said, Kisra ibn Hurmuz, the Kisra of the son of Hurmuz in Iraq, Persia. And Huzur said, yes. You remember that? That here are the bangles, give me your hand. Though men are not allowed to wear gold, but in order to confirm this hadith, I'm going to put them on your hand for a few minutes. And he made them wear those, and he said, look, this is the confirmation of the hadith of Nabi Kiram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. These were the Sahaba, left, right, center. In the time of Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, Amirul Mu'mineen, how much did Islam spread? 1,500,000 square kilometers. That's how much Islam spread in the 10 years of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu. Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam paved the way for them. The whole Arabian Peninsula embraced Islam. And Islam was not spread by its war. Islam was spread by its ta'aleem and akhlaq, its education, it's the way it treated people and taught people. They loved Islam. They fell in love with Islam. Islam removed all the ignorance and the shirk and kufr. And they saw the ibadat of Sahaba. One of the Persian emperor's envoys came as a jasus, as a spy. And he observed the Sahaba. When he went back and they asked him, how are these people? And he said, I don't know what to say. All I can say is, بِاللَّيْلِ رُهْبَانْ وَبِالنَّهَارِ فُرْسَانْ. By night they are monks, and by day they are warriors. These two things cannot combine. A rahib cannot be a warrior cannot be a rahib. But these people are, I don't know how, at night they are standing in front of their Rabb, and they are crying, shedding, sobbing like babies, tears in front of their Allah, their Creator. They sleep very little, they eat very little, and by day they are in the path of Allah. And when Hazrat Rib'i radiallahu anhu was brought in the darbar, in the parliament of Rustum, and he asked him, who are you? Why are you here? And he said, جئنا لنخرج العباد من عبادة العباد إلى عبادة رب العباد ومن جور الأديان إلى عدل الإسلام ومن ضيق الدنيا إلى سعة الآخرة. We have come to you so that we can take people out from the worshipping of people to the worship of the creator of the people. And we have come to take people out of the zulm and tyranny of the other religions to the equality and fairness of Islam. And we have come to take people out from the veil and the tightness and the strictness of this dunya to the expansion and wus'at of the akhirah, to give them the ni'mat of Jannah. And he said, your message is loud and clear, we have nothing to say. This is how Sahaba spread, Islam spread. So, Sahaba's sacrifices, there can be no denial of the sacrifices of Sahaba. Now, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam worked really hard on the Sahaba. And remember, the earlier Sahaba are the best. Quran said, La yastawi. Abu Bakr Siddiq, from the earlier Sahaba, Umar Farooq, Usman Ghani, Ali Murtada, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, Sa'id ibn Zayd, Talha ibn Ubaydillah, Subayr ibn al-Awwam, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Ammar ibn Yasir, Khabbab ibn al-Arad, Bilal ibn Rabah al-Habashi. All these Sahaba from day one with Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam appreciated their help. He would always care for them, think about them. And he would always be very kind and nice towards them, as he was. He was nice with everyone, but to those who had helped him through thick and thin, he was extra careful, extra nice. On one occasion, someone said something to one of the senior Sahabas, and Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam stood up on the minbar and he said, La tasubbu ashabi. Don't abuse any of my companions. فَلَوْ أَنَّ أَحَدَكُمْ أَنْفَقَ مِثْلَ أُحُدٍ ذَهَبًا مَا بَلَغَ مُدَّ أَحَدِهِمْ وَلَا نَصِيفَهُ. If one of you was to spend gold equivalent to the weight of Mount Uhud, he would not be able to reach one mud of theirs or half a mud of theirs. They sacrificed at the time of dire need. When the earth is dry and it's in need of every drop of water, then that drizzle will be highly appreciated by the earth. In comparison to the heavy rain which falls afterwards, Sahaba gave sacrifice in the beginning. And not only that, they had that ikhlas, sincerity in their hearts, that sacrifice. And in their salat, they had that khushu', khudu', concentration, tawajjuh, connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu used to pray namaz, the women and the children and the people of Mushrikeen, they would pass by his house, they would just stand there and observe him reading that namaz, how he's crying, how he's reading Quran. They would love his tilawah. Their salat, their khushu, khudu. This is what made the Sahaba who they were. So, we understand the Sahaba, we understand who are as-sabiqun al-awwalun min al-muhajirin wal-ansar. And we understand a little bit of their fada'il. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam not only mentioned these fada'il, he also went one step ahead. And he said, Akrimu ashabi, فَإِنَّهُمْ خِيَارُكُمْ. Honor and respect my companions, because they are the best among you. He said in another hadith, مَثَلُ أَصْحَابِي فِي أُمَّتِي كَمَثَلِ الْمِلْحِ فِي الطَّعَامِ لَا يَصْلُحُ الطَّعَامِ إِلَّا بِالْمِلْحِ. The example of my Sahaba among my ummah is like salt in food. A food cannot be tasty without salt. It's pika. चाहिए वो चिप्स भी हल्की नहीं लगती बगैर सॉल्ट के. फरमाया कि मेरे सहाबा, salt is only a little bit in the food. Sahaba might be a little bit among the whole ummah, but he said they are like that salt. My ummah cannot be good without my Sahaba. Hasan Basri narrated this hadith and he said, فَقَدْ ذَهَبَ مِلْحُنَا فَكَيْفَ نَصْبِرُ. Our salt is gone, how can we be good? Sahaba were Sahaba ajma'een. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also said in one hadith about abusing Sahaba, insulting Sahaba. He said, Allah fi ashabi. Fear Allah regarding my companions. Ittaqu is mahzoob before. That's why Allah is mansoob. ittaqullaha fi ashabi. La tattakhiduhum gharadan min ba'di. Do not make them a target after I die. Do not shoot arrows of criticism at them. Do not make them a target after I die. Man ahabbahum fabihubbi ahabbahum. Whoever loves them, then it is because of my love that he loves them. He loves me, that's why he is loving my companions. وَمَنْ أَبْغَضَهُمْ فَبِبُغْضِي أَبْغَضَهُمْ. Whoever hates them, then it is because of my hatred he hates them. You know, he can't criticize me, so he criticizes my Sahaba. So his main target is Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he knows he cannot shoot at Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so he shoots the Sahaba. That's why he said, وَمَنْ أَبْغَضَهُمْ فَبِبُغْضِي أَبْغَضَهُمْ. And he went on to say, وَمَنْ آذَاهُمْ فَقَدْ آذَانِي. Whoever hurts a single Sahabi of mine has hurt me. وَمَنْ آذَانِي فَقَدْ آذَى اللَّهِ. Whoever hurts me has hurt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ آذَى اللَّهِ فَيُوشِكُ أَنْ يَأْخُذَهُ. Whoever hurts Allah, then very quickly Allah will seize him and take him to task. So this is Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam's warning regarding insult and abuse of Sahaba. He said, إِذَا رَأَيْتُمُ الَّذِينَ يَسُبُّونَ أَصْحَابِي فَقُولُوا لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى شَرِّكُمْ. When you see someone swearing at my Sahabi, then say, لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى شَرِّكُمْ. May Allah's curse be on your evil. He didn't say alaykum, he said ala sharrikum. And alaykum bina'an ala sharrikum. You're evil, why are you behaving in this evil manner with my companions? So, this is the ikram and honor of Sahaba on one side, and the result of abusing, insulting any of the Sahaba is one. A general, a fadilat and virtues of Sahaba. And then we see the individual virtues of Sahaba in one. For every Sahabi, you open books of Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Sahih Sunan Tirmidhi, extra Sahih Sitta, you will get Babu Manaqibi Abi Bakr as-Siddiq, Babu Manaqibi Umar ibn al-Khattab, Babu Manaqibi Uthman ibn Affan, Babu Manaqibi Ali al-Murtada, Babu Manaqibi al-Asharat al-Mubashshara, Babu Manaqibi Ahli Bayt al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Babu Manaqib al-Azwaj al-Mutahharat. All their manaqib and fadail, individual, single hadith in fadilat and virtues of individual Sahaba. Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, he said, Arhamu ummati bi ummati Abu Bakr. The most kind and gentle and soft and merciful among my ummah, to my ummah, is Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. He said, إن من أمن الناس علي في صحبته وماله أبو بكر ولو كنت متخذا خليلا لاتخذت أبا بكر خليلا. The most favors that anyone has done to me with regards to spending his wealth on me and sacrificing his life for me is Abu Bakr. If I was to take someone as Khalil, I would take Abu Bakr as my Khalil. In the battle of Badr, Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu was fighting fearlessly. And Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ya Abu Bakr, abqi nafsaka li. Oh Abu Bakr, save yourself from me. I need you, stay close to me. Don't go. Huzur was trying to save Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr was fighting ahead. He knew Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu was only 2 years younger than Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he knew Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam right before his Nabuwwat. He was very close friend of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam even before Nabuwwat. Huzur was 40 and he was 38. So they had very close relationship even before Nabuwwat. This is why he knew Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam inside out. And as soon as he said Islam, he immediately accepted it. One hadith said, whenever I offered Islam to anyone, they hesitated a little bit except Abu Bakr. As soon as I said to him, I have been made a prophet, he immediately said, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, without any hesitation. And Abu Bakr is such that in his khandan, he is Sahabi, his father Abu Quhafa is Sahabi, his son Abdul Rahman ibn Abi Bakr is Sahabi, all 3 generations Sahaba. No other Sahabi has this. Then we take Fadail of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu. Oh, Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ma laqiyaka shaytanu salikan fajjan illa salaka fajjan ghayra fajjan. When shaitan sees you coming in the street, he changes his road. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, in the previous nations there were muhaddas and mulham. If there is any muhaddas in my ummah, then it is Umar ibn Khattab. Allah inspires him. He speaks as though Allah is speaking on his tongue. He says many things, and Allah reveals that thing which he has said. Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I saw in a dream, I was given a bowl of milk to drink. I drank and I gave my leftover to Umar. And Umar drank and drank and drank until I could see the freshness in his fingertips. They said, what is the meaning of this, Ya Rasulullah? And he said, ilm. My ilm, I will pass on to Umar. Among Sahaba, Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab is classed as afqah and a'lam because of the new matters which he established throughout the 10 years. This is a special subject to go over. And then Usman Ghani radiallahu anhu, Zul Nurayn, who gave him 2 daughters. لِكُلِّ نَبِيٍّ رَفِيقٌ فِي الْجَنَّةِ وَرَفِيقِي فِيهَا Usman ibn Affan. My Rafiq in Jannat is Usman. Because his 2 daughters will be with him. So Usman will be with him as well. And Ali Murtada, Karamullah Wajhu, gave him his most beloved daughter, Hazrat Fatima radiallahu anha. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, من كنت مولاه فعلي مولاه اللهم والي من والاه وعاد من عاداه. Whoever's mahbub and beloved I am, then Ali should be his beloved mahbub as well. Oh Allah, befriend and love the one who loves Ali and dislike the one who hates Ali. And he said, علي مني وأنا من علي ولا يؤدي عني إلا أنا وعلي. Ali is mine and I am Ali's. Nobody can deliver my message but myself or Ali. At the time of Hijr, he told Ali Karamallahu Wajhu to sleep on his bistara, which was very risky. They could have jumped him, they could have killed him, forced their way inside. His life was at risk. But Ali said, no problem, I am ready to offer that sacrifice. So he knew who Sayyidina Ali Karamallahu Wajhu was. That's why he gave him Hazrat Fatima. And their children, Hassan Hussein, who used to love his grandchildren. Al-Hassan wal-Hussein, Sayyidah Shababi Ahlul Jannah. Fatima, Sayyidat Nisa'i Ahlul Jannah. So, Sahaba, also Hazrat Aisha, who used to love Hazrat Aisha. He said the virtue and excellence of Aisha over other ladies is like the virtue of sari over the other foods. He mentioned there's many meanings behind it, which Muhaddithin explained. So, Hazrat Aisha, Nabi Pak used to love Aisha radiallahu anha. Sometimes the other ladies, Azwaji Mutahharat, wives, said something, and Nabi Pak said, do not say anything about Aisha. Because she is such that Jibreel Wahi, he doesn't bring Wahi whilst I'm lying down in any other rooms except Aisha's room. Even when I have lied down, I'm retiring to bed, Jibreel comes and knocks on the door and he brings Wahi down. There's something special about Aisha. So, these are the Sahaba, Sahabiyat. Finally, sometimes you hear something criticism about Sahaba. They say they used to fight among them, mushajarat, civil wars. I ask you a question. Did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala know that these things are going to happen, or did He not know? Bolo?
He didn't.
Allah has knowledge of ma kan wa ma yakun, past, present, future, until Qiyamah. Allah knew that these things are going to happen, but He still gave them the title of radiyallahu anhum wa radu anhu. He still promised them وَأَعَدَّ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي تَحْتَهَا الْأَنْهَارُ. He still gave them the title of أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ حَقًّا أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الصَّادِقُونَ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الرَّاشِدُونَ فَضْلًا مِنَ اللَّهِ وَنِعْمَةً وَاللَّهُ عَلِيمٌ حَكِيمٌ. The thing is, these mushajarat, they are a result of some differences, disagreements. And they happen even among us as well, even among the best friends as well. But the difference between us and the Sahaba is that we keep grudges in our hearts. Sahaba never kept grudges in their hearts. Their hearts were as pure as gold. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, كانوا أبر هذه الأمة قلوبا. They had the most pious hearts. وأعمقها علما. They had the most deepest knowledge. وأقلها تكلفا. They were the least in pretension. اختارهم الله لصحبة نبيه. Allah selected each and every Sahabi to be a Sahabi of his Prophet, to be a companion of his Prophet. وَلِإِقَامَةِ دِينِهِ. And Allah chose each and every single Sahabi to establish his deen. فَعَرِفُوا لَهُمْ فَضْلَهُمْ. So recognize their virtues and excellence. وَتَمَسَّكُوا بِمَا اسْتَطَعْتُم مِّن سِيَرِهِمْ وَأَخْلَاقِهِمْ. Hold on to whatever you can from their sirat and their akhlaq. فَهُمْ كَانُوا عَلَى الْهُدَى الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. It is they who were on the hidayat al-mustaqima, on the straight path. So they had their disagreements, but their hearts were very clean and pure. Even in spite of those disagreements, they loved one another. They cared for one another. They knew that this is just small differences. This is why Salafi Salihin have always said that with regards to these mushajarahat, we should keep our tongues mouth closed. Don't say anything about them. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was asked about this, and he said, تِلْكَ دِمَاءٌ طَهَّرَ اللَّهُ مِنْهَا سُيُوفَنَا فَلَا نُلَطِّخُ بِهَا أَلْسِنَتَنَا. They were bloods from which Allah has kept our swords clean. We don't want to dirty our tongues with them. And Allama ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullah alayhi has written in Minhaj al-Sunnah that these riwayat which come, many of these riwayat are kizb and zur and buhtan on the Sahaba. Fabrications. So don't fall for those fabrications. Understand the virtue and the fadail, and every Sahabi comes in that virtue and fadilah. You remember the first definition I gave? Man laqiya an-Nabiy sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So is Hazrat Muawiyah a Sahabi or not? You tell me. Hazrat Muawiyah did not only meet him for a moment, he stayed with him for over 3 years after Makkah. He is the one who shaved his head in the Umrah of Ji'izana. He is the one whom Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to call sometimes to write wahi. His sister was married to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is the brother-in-law of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Habiba. His father Abu Sufyan also embraced Islam, and he supported Islam after he embraced Islam in the battles of Riddat during the time of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. So you can't criticize Hazrat Muawiyah, Hazrat Abu Sufyan, their mother Hazrat Hind, who embraced Islam. What happened, happened. But then they become Sahabi, they are Sahabi. And Hazrat Muawiyah established deen in his imarat and in his hukumat. From year 40 to 60, Islam spread. He took it from where Hazrat Umar ibn Khattab and Hazrat Usman Ghani radiallahu anhu had left it. Hazrat Ali karamallahu wajhahu would have taken it forward, but the people did not let him rule with peace. There were so many fights and feuds in his time. So when things settled down, Hazrat Muawiyah took Islam forward and it spread around Khurasan and all that areas where Islam needed to be taken. So every Sahabi is our, on our heads. He's a shining star, illuminating star. We have to respect each and every single Sahabi. We cannot say a bad word about Sahaba. Allah is watching us. He's noting everything we say. When Allah said about Sahaba, فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ بِهِ. If they believe like you have believed, Sahaba's iman, Sahaba's aqidah, Sahaba's aqwal, Sahaba's a'mal, we should follow them. And we should accept the rulings and the judgments and the fatawa and the fiqh which Sahaba brought. There is so much to be said about Sahaba. Finally, let's recognize their fadilat and virtue of each and every individual Sahabi. Even if he only saw Nabi Pak for one moment, he's still a Sahabi, and that Sahabi is better than all the awliya of the ummah put on one side, because he has this special feature of seeing the Prophet ﷺ, staying in the suhbat of Nabi Kareem ﷺ, let alone the likes of Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, and the Ashara Mubashara, the best among the Sahaba, the 10 who were given glad tidings of Jannah in one majlis, and then Ashab Badr, who the 313 of Badr, and then Ashab Rizwan, As-Sabiqun al-Awwalun. They are the best among the Sahaba. Never think bad about the Sahaba, let alone saying anything bad about the Sahaba. May Allah protect our tongues from abusing, insulting Sahaba. May Allah give us the correct aqidah of Sahaba. One final point, if you have a 100-story building, the foundation should be strong. If you dynamite the foundation, the whole building will collapse. Sahaba are the foundation of this building of Islam of 1400 years. If you criticize Sahaba, you dynamite, destroy the foundation, the whole Islam will be destroyed. destroyed. This is why we have to keep our foundation strong, keep our love for our Sahaba Ridwanullahi Majma'in strong. May Allah give us the correct aqeedah and the ability and the tawfiq to respect our Sahaba Ridwanullahi Majma'in. Jazakumullah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Allahumma lakal hamdu wa lakal shukr. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammadin nabiyil ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim taslima. O Allah, have mercy upon us, forgive us. O Allah, give us your love and the love of your Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the love of the Sahaba of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the love of the family members of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and Azwaji Mutahharat and Banati Tahirat, and all the Sahaba and Tabi'een and Tabi' Tabi'een and Salafi Salihin who worked tirelessly and so hard to let this deen Islam reach us. O Allah, reward them for their efforts. O Allah, shower your rahmah and mercy upon their graves, and O Allah, join us with them on the day of Qiyamah and keep us close to them in Jannatul Firdaus and accept our humble du'as. O Allah, give us all the good things which your beloved Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked from you, and protect us from all those evils from which he sought your protection, and accept this conference and gathering of ours, and reward all the organizers in full, Maulana Abdul Rauf Sahab, Qari Sahab, committee members and everyone, and reward those who are preparing the food and going to feed everyone. O Allah, accept their efforts, and O Allah, keep this masjid full and abad with musallis, and accept all the programs and dhikr majlis and ta'aleem and maktab and everything that takes place over here, and take our central mosque from strength to strength and elevate it for use everywhere and make it a markaz of rushd and hidayat. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصل اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا